Well, it's a little bit bright behind me, and you can see, without smoking a cigarette, that smoke is coming out of my mouth. It's because it's cold, but it's not too cold. I have found a place that I was looking for a while ago, and didn't try very hard to locate. This is Warren G. Harding's resting place. So I'm glad I found it. It's along Route 423, and those are the digits of my month and day of birth in 1973. I took it off Route 23, which I'm very familiar with because I traveled that road often to get home to Detroit from Ohio Wesleyan, where I went to college. I'm going to read the 5th chapter of Our Freedom in Peril. It's not the same as what you're seeing because the title is my story. I bought this in a bookstore. It says, "Freedom is in peril. Defend it with all your might." This is I believe it was World War II, or maybe it was even older than that. A propaganda wartime slogan. Chapter 5, Types of Freedom. Freedom is not a very tangible thing. You can't weigh it, count it out, or put an objective value on it. So when we get to a discussion about types of freedoms, some will put more weight on some than others. What matters a ton to one person might not be all that important to the next individual. There are as many different types of freedoms as there are degrees of importance. The easiest one to start with is individual freedom. Once we leave the nest for college or life, we experience for the first time what honestly being an individual is all about. How much sleep we get, how we dress, what friends we socialize with, and what we do in our free time is up to us. All these things define who we are and how we gain an identity. Although an identity should never be fake, it should always be fluid and able to change over time. As we change and our entire dynamic of living shifts numerous times in our adult life. We already know the rigidity of home with mom and dad. We can look forward and expect a factor of changeability that allows for growth, new knowledge, new interests, and new tastes. Most novelties wear off after some time, and I feel it takes an entire lifetime to be the people we were meant to be when we started this adult journey of individual freedom. Now, let's discuss the First Amendment. It has 4 separate but connective parts, holding it all together: speech, religion, assembly, and press. All can be scrunched together by saying it is the way we communicate. It is our voice through our beliefs, our words, our presence, and our news that keep us free and in contact with our identity as well. We have the ability in the United States to say what we think. A new kind of technology, though, tells others what it is we think. Today we have crossed the line of reading what someone thinks to knowing it without a word being said. Today, we not only know more than ever before, but we have an added tenacity to know more about another person. And for the sake of not being rude, we've chosen instead to take without asking. You can learn a lot about a person in 2020 by visiting social networking profiles or other fact-checking sites for property, crime, and background. The budding addict starts a compulsive and harmless, socially acceptable invasion of privacy. You know, to learn more. In the 21st century, we call it doing research. Privacy is a second important freedom. Not because we are trying to hide something from other people, but simply because it is common courtesy. It is simply being polite to extend that right naturally. Just like at a urinal, you wouldn't stare at the person next to you. However, in 2020, people have the unique technological advantage to actually be your own eye. So whatever it is you see, even if by mistake, it's recorded and can be freeze-framed to capture exactly what the idol God wants to see. And my own experience became so large and vast. I'd love to know, because I'd kick him in the nads at least twice. One for each nut. Right to invasion of privacy is so very large that it is, in fact, acts as a right or left bower in a game of spades. Knowing this fact has saved me on more than a couple occasions and helped me not worry myself into a panic and subsequent observable justification for another mandated mental evaluation. My invasion of privacy was not a passive event. It involves stimuli to get me to respond to their agreed and decided action of projection. because they could create proof. Invasion of privacy involved my home, my car, my senses of hearing and sight, and manipulation and deterioration of my physical body. In essence, I suppose what the group was after was learning a bit more than usual about me. Right to privacy is an important basic right because it guards against a sense of insecurity and issues of safety. Another freedom is a capitalistic economic structure. Having a free market economy where supply and demand determine the value of an object is far superior to a fixed rate or artificial price, like subsidies for not farming land would be an example. People's ability to own their own company and price their own products is a philosophical ideal of freedom itself. Ingenuity and innovation occurs in a capitalistic society, letting a natural supply and demand, cost of goods dictate a market's operation, in my view, is far superior than any other. More to come soon.